Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the Supernova Astrology update for March 6th through 13th, 2023. Well, we start off the week with a very powerful full moon in uh, Virgo. We've got the sun in Pisces and the full moon in Virgo happening right at 16 degrees, right in the very middle of Virgo. This puts this full moon in a trine relationship to Uranus in Taurus. Now, Uranus represents higher frequency vibration or connection to our true future self, our ancient wisdom, and our higher self. And so there's this energy of being infused the earth because, Virgo is an earth sign and Uranus and Taurus, so an earth trine here. And it's kind of like infusing our earth experience, rebirthing with Virgo, the Virgin, into a higher frequency vibration. And are you feeling it? Because, wow, these last few days have been so intense with Venus has just crossed over Jupiter. That would happen on the 2nd, and then Chiron on the 4th. They're still together, but moving. Venus is moving on as of tomorrow from these conjunctions. Jupiter and Chiron together exact from the 11th to the 14th of March. This is so powerful because Jupiter expands whatever it comes into contact with. In Aries, it's about expanding into our life force. And we had this experience last spring of this unbridled reawakening when Jupiter moved back in or moved into Aries. It was just kind of this like, oh, I could grab a hold of this energy. I could move in my life. I can make some changes. I can do this. It was kind of this surge of energy available. But then when Jupiter turned retrograde and went back into Pisces, it was just like, oh. And so now Jupiter's been back in Aries. It's just been a month since Jupiter's come out of retrograde shadow. Its first major conjunction here with Chiron. Now that it's in new territory, now Chiron is at 13 degrees. And Jupiter kind of just cruises through Aries and will move into Taurus in May of this year. So we've just got this window of all planets direct. Finally, Mars is coming out of retrograde shadow at the middle of the month. And Jupiter in Aries, we really want to take advantage of this because Jupiter bringing that expansive quality to the energy of life force, spark of creation, action, incarnation. And so now coming up to Chiron, though. So Chiron is our deepest wounds. And so this is about where this life force or our life itself has been stolen from us. And especially Chiron in Aries speaks to souls that have used this power, this life force power that we have in our body in their higher faculties, higher intuitive faculties. And then have, there's like that energy of persecution or that the taking of your life, the taking of your freedom because of your access to this power. So when you heal the wounds of Chiron, then you access a superpower. And in this case, Chiron and Aries is this access to life force. And Jupiter is saying, break the chains, expand it. Come on, let's go. Like, no stay. And it's powerful because it's affecting everyone in their own way. Collectively, there's an energy for humanity to break free of the control. And we're being shown more and more clearly every day the level of control that the agenda of control with the globalist agenda of depopulation and creating a slave race of humans. And we're just waking up to this just in time. And also just in time is coming this influx of energies with this full moon and this Aries energy. We've also got this incredible like bloom of Pisces energy with Saturn moving into Pisces tomorrow. So, but the overall energy of this is an activation of the earth with higher frequency vibrations. This is also means the structures of our world, the structures of our physical body. It's an activation of our God code DNA just in time before we get taken over by the AI. And it's like, grab a hold of that and hold on for dear life and don't let it go. And it's also this energy of, with Pluto at 29 degrees Capricorn, all of the contractual arrangements around where we've given our power and our potential away, and facing these places where these contractual arrangements, and taking our energy back and saying, not one more penny for the monster. Not gonna play. Now it's interesting because that Pluto at 29 degrees Capricorn, whoa, it's just the full quintessential bloom of Pluto and Capricorn, of these control energy constructs, of the mechanisms of authoritarian control that have had a hold on our power, because Pluto represents our psychic power. And so there's just this kind of chokehold energy. There has been, and this, we're feeling a bloom of this Capricorn energy right now. But it's very powerful that Pluto is at 29 degrees Capricorn, is in a semi-sextile, which is one sign over 30 degrees from Saturn in Aquarius. And Saturn Aquarius is a bloom as well of the Aquarian dynamics, of the control energies around technology, going back to Atlantean time, and the absconsion of the timeline. So this semi-sextile is this beautiful energy of communication over the boundaries, over the lines, over the lines that have been drawn between us, to work with coming together and using our diverse qualities and skills to find those magical solutions. Very powerful, because it's like, oh my gosh, it's like this bloom of control energy, and everything that's held us back from this evolution into the Aquarian age. But this semi-sextile is saying, hey, you guys, it's the end. It's the end. It's a chapter. It's the end chapter. And we've been feeling like, well, where do we go from here? It's like, yes, reality's dismantling, but is there anything to catch us? And that's because, the energy of this astrology is saying, because we're birthing a new reality. Oh, Supernova Soul, you're made out of stardust, the energy that creates worlds. So perhaps this is what we're doing here. Because we've got Saturn moving into Pisces tomorrow. Saturn, it's very powerful, because typically, how Jupiter went back into Pisces, Aries, like when planets take a retrograde, they'll often go back into the other sign. But when Saturn retrogrades this year, it will only go to 0 degrees of Pisces. So Saturn is in Pisces for the next 2+ years. And so it's kind of like gagung, right? We're not, on the other hand, Pluto is dancing at the edge of Aquarius, Capricorn and Aquarius, right? It's teeter-tottering into the new age. But Saturn is locking in to the Pisces energy. Going back to 0 degrees is like a new start in the Pisces energy, and Saturn is the builder. So it's, on one hand, all of the things that have been in the way of us keeping our connection to spiritual truth, and bringing up the question, how do we build a world based on spiritual laws? Like, enough of these laws, like, or the laws that, like, it's a new world based on new laws. And in Pisces, we're talking about consciousness, spirituality, water, consciousness of water, and structure of water, and the power of water, as we look at the year of the water rabbit, in helping us learn to navigate, co-create, and win in this time. Because the rabbit wins the race through intuition and awareness and presence. Okay. It's this part of ourselves, instead of going out with an agenda. It's like, go, fight, fight, push, 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 right? This is like, whoa, hold on. I'm going to be here in total presence and consciousness. I'm going to run when I can run, very fast. I'm going to be sneaky and pay attention to all of the things around me in total presence, and move when the energy says to move, and wait when the energy says to wait, and take action that's directed by that divine will and alignment with the truth, but then waiting and see what happens. Not the egotistical creation of the lower self that just wants to, you know, break through, move forward and see your creations happen, you know, in the systematic way we used to do it before. And that's just not working anymore. We have a whole new way of existing. And so the Saturn moving into Pisces is bringing completely different energy, like a new reality based on water, the consciousness of water, the power of water, which is really uh, our mother, which is really creation and source and God, consciousness, everything, right? And so a huge awareness coming around the water and the waters in our body, and the power of moving like the water, and going with the flow, and yet not giving up your autonomous form either. So a huge shift with Saturn moving into Pisces, and it's just kind of feel like it just feels like something's kind of clicking into place. It's interesting timing, because the energy right now with this massive tectonic shift type shifting that's happening right now, the picture is that we are time traveling, and we've always done it. We just don't know we're doing it. This is part of your problem, Supernova Souls, that you exist in multiple frequency dimensions. And the picture I'm seeing is that as we converge into this porthole shift in time, there's all these timelines that have been woven. And as you get, it's like if you've ever seen the maypole at a maypole dance, where they dance with the ribbons and weave the ribbons around the pole. And so the ribbons are all going up. And then as you get close to, you know, that portal shifting place, all those ribbons are tied together. And so we're literally, as we move through these times, jumping very quickly, could be moment to moment, through different time dimensional frequencies, because we're cleaning up our messes from the past lives and other energies and parallel experiences, and getting things shored up. But it's really disconcerting. It's just a very powerful, important time right now. These energies are super ungrounding. And so to just anchor in and be in consciousness with Mother Earth, because she's the one leading us through these changes. You know, I see a lot of people, like, on the one hand, more free in their being. We've been clearing and healing and releasing and giving ourselves permission to feel better and lighter, but then ungrounded at this time, because the frequencies are so, the ground is shifting under our feet, you know, but she's shifting. She's not going anywhere. She's our mother. And so that's a very powerful energy. So I hope you can consider joining the Virgo. I hope to see you there for the Virgo full moon activation. That's Monday, March 6th at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. And that if you can't make the live, you know, check out the replay, get this activation, because it's a powerful one. Our next new moon is at 0 degrees Aries, just after the equinox. And so this lunation, this whole lunation is about this flip of incredible shifts, you know, because right before the solstice, we've got this epic moment in time where, so Mercury has moved into Pisces, and the sun is in Pisces. Of course, we know Neptune's in Pisces. Now, the sun is coming into this conjunction with Neptune, and we start to feel that next week. And at the same time, Mercury is catching up. So we're going to have Mercury, Sun, Neptune in exact square to Mars in Gemini, just as Mars is coming out of his retrograde shadow. It's incredibly powerful, because this is, like we said, the final gate, right? And maybe this is kind of where we've been at. The activation of the Atlantean karma is activating fear programming that says that if you access this life force energy and you learn to direct it, your power, it'll cause destruction. It's not yours. You can't have it. It's too dangerous. And we gave it away. And we were manipulated into giving it away and forgetting that we even had it or know how to use it. Now it's coming back and we don't have a choice, so we better figure out what's going on. So all of this energy is blooming around the contractual arrangements that have to do with Atlantean time. And as we have Mars in this just coming out, finally the motion is back. Finally, Mars is out of retrograde shadow, and bam, third and final square with Neptune at the same time with the Sun and Mercury all meeting up. The Ides of March. And it feels like tipping over into a new reality for sure, and shifting on the level of like tectonic plate shifting in our life, in our experience, in our world, and rolling with it. So these are mutable signs, or Pisces and Gemini. And so it's about shifting. It's about mutable signs are about changing and shifting and adjusting. So it's like, all right, massive coming to the edge of reality moment adjustment. Culmination of the last 8 months of astrology in this next couple of weeks. What's going to happen? Where are we going? What happens when Mars gets his voice back? So the Sun and Neptune and Mercury in Pisces, the Sun is always is who we are, who we hold as our identity. And in Pisces, it's about our spiritual identity. And yet the Sun always represents that battle between the lower self and the higher self. And in this case, it's like a complete breaking of all constructs that are not in alignment with our spiritual truth. It's an ego death of epic proportions, a dissolving of all that's false, and just a being pulled like a vacuum or a vortex into our center being, into the truth of who we are as spiritual beings. And I know it's weird because if you look at things around the world and what was being painted for us, it feels like we're getting further and further away from spiritual truth. And yet it's not true. It's the opposite. It's flooding in, and people are receiving it in their own ways. And it's the same as this life force energy, you know? And so coming back to those contracts that have to do with Atlantean time, we've been going to this precipice again and again. And we've had all these resets over time to keep us from claiming back our full potential. Because if we raise our frequency enough and we shift dimensional energies enough, then the forces of control can no longer be here on this planet. That's the inevitable place we're at and where we're going. And so they don't want us to tip over that edge. And so at that edge is that whole story of Atlantean time, this threshold. Like, do you have permission within your being to come back into your power, into your intuitive power, into your full expression of who you are as a human? So much has gone into this thousands of years keeping us from this. And yet it's something we've already done and already experienced. We just forgot. Our mind was wiped again and again and again, and this time it's not happening. But at that threshold place about where you're about to break through, that's where all the fear programming and the demons and the darkness and the wilderness and all that shit is, But with this infusion, I'm going to say inflection, I don't even know, of this energy that's coming through with this Jupiter Chiron, Venus Chiron activation, and Saturn anchoring into Pisces. And it's just like, when you have this access to life force, you're feeling that coursing through your being, it's impossible to feel fear and trauma. Really, it's like that's the energies that they've used to keep us from evolving and keep us in basically mind control is all based on trauma programming. And we're being continually traumatized in multiple ways on multiple levels. And so what we're doing is we have to overcome all trauma, right? So the trauma triggers and the trauma programming don't work. We're going to heal it all deep down to the core, to the most vulnerable place inside of us. This is Aries. It's like, rip open that wound and heal that shit, right? And so this that's the wounded healer. It's like the power of the organism. And say, have you ever experienced a really intense injury or a life or death situation when you see the body respond to that situation? This is the energy of Aries. It's just like, it's like turning on to mustering the last strength, turning on the power, that um, energy of superhuman strength coming through. And when that energy's in your life, you don't have time to be scared anymore. And you get used to it. You don't have time to be traumatized. You're too busy living again. And this is like really their greatest fear. And we're here at the precipice, and it's been for some, this combination of energies has been incredibly dark for some supernova souls. Like, oh my God, I didn't know I was having to go back here. But there's a very powerful message coming through too for supernova souls that you're more put together than you have been before in, recent times. And you've been through the worst of it and you made it through that. You're going to make it through this. Keep breathing, keep loving. The light is coming in. And there's definitely deep mysteries around that water principle, the air, the breath, the our ability to, in our own body, to purify, to live on prana, on ether, to access the energy we need from the air through our breath. And this is like kicking back into gear. The thing about it is, like, our memories might be wiped and we forgot, and we agreed to forget on some level, but it doesn't mean it didn't happen. And you can't get rid of it out of our Akashic records. And that's the deal. So coming back to this moon in trine to Uranus, because Uranus often brings opportunities for connection to our higher self, messages, information, synchronicities. And so this full moon is like a massive earth activation, as well as a revealing potentially of Akashic records truths that can get us out of this trap. Like, this light flooding in is activating our DNA codes, our God code DNA. And this is exactly what the modern medical situation is going directly up against, is this God code DNA trying to disconnect us from our ability to activate this principle within us. This is the same energy as supernova souls, you being there at the very beginning of time of this earth evolution, and as a soul, conscious soul, watching the birth of this earth and the potential of what it wanted to be and being a part of it. And so that's probably why you're here incarnate at this crucial time of birthing a new earth. And here we are together. So don't forget, in these crazy, crazy up and down moments, that we are doing it, and we already want to work together. We're all going through it. And so in this energy, the Pisces energy and the Virgo full moon offers this opportunity of rebirth, and a rebirth into our spiritual self, and a rebirth into this deep peace of living from that place. It's a very profound resettling. The Saturn moving into Pisces is almost like a resettling in our spiritual self, and coming back into our own law, truth, of spiritual truth and our spiritual law. So we'll examine those energies and very powerful times ahead, all starting around the 13th, just next week, with that very powerful dynamic of Sun, Mercury, Neptune square Mars as he exits his shadow and moves on into new things. And those new things require and demand, and it's coming forward, this voice, these things we haven't been able to say. And a lot, since all this Pisces activation and everything, it's like we're wrestling back that divine timeline. And the things that we haven't been able to say are spiritual truths and common sense and love and compassion. And can't we just do it right? Because it's hurt for too long, for long enough, And that's where we're breaking the spell on the Piscean age with this Mars square Sun, Neptune, Mercury, breaking the spell and breaking ourselves free from the trap, the loop of those trauma stories. So incredibly powerful times. I hope to see you at the new moon activation on the replay. You're still with us energetically. even on the replays. So thank you so much for your support and being with us, with me. If you are a Supernova Soul Tribe member, and consider the membership for $10 a month to get that Friday update, monthly Q&As, and access to the Supernova Forum and information for Supernova Souls. The Supernova Gold membership, $20 a month, gets you into the new and full moon activations, as well as live sharing circles just after the activations. And thank you so much for your support and for being with us on whatever level. We feel you. We hear you. We're connected supernovas. We are stardust and we got to get back to the garden. So I'll see you there at that Virgo full moon activation, or on the next update. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.